Hey guys, my name's Aaron. I'm a physiotherapist here at Vector Health. To get here, my journey began at Macquarie University in Sydney. I started a degree in human sciences, majoring in human movement or biomechanics. I did 3 years there. The plan was to then go into a doctor of physiotherapy, but GPAs ended up changing, which didn't really matter. It ended up putting me on a path for an undergrad physio in Orange, sort of country New South Wales. I then spent 3 years there, did my time, spent a year living out of my van. In the final year going through placements, and that's where I really sort of developed my passion and my drive in physio. I love working with balance and people in any kind of sporting field, whatever that might be, particularly sort of your surfing, your skating, any kind of board sport. I absolutely live for it. But then that spreads over into other age groups, particularly elderly people with balance problems or walking problems. I love getting people back into running and that sort of thing as well. So I tend to focus a bit more on that sort of higher level type functioning stuff, but that has a very big correlation and crossover into our sort of more basic sort of forms of day-to-day activity, whether that's something as simple as getting in and out of bed, or getting up and down out of a chair, or you feel as though you can't walk as far as you used to. Anything like that I like to help out with. So usually the first thing I'll do in a session is we'll just sit down, we'll have a bit of a chat, bit of a yarn, and sort of highlight some problems that are going on. We'll get a bit hands-on. I like to sort of work with my fingers and my hands a fair bit. I just like the understanding that it gives me. I feel as though it tends to help out the client as well. Most people tend to like a little bit of a massage. From there, we'll also develop some goals. I'm big on goal setting. I find it really helps direction and that sort of thing. So a lot of the time, a session can just be literally exploring what goals you have or what goals we can create for you to sort of guide our rehab throughout the process. From then on, it's then working within the realms of your capacity at the time. So particularly pain-free movement to begin with. If it's a sort of fresh injury, even some of those more chronic injuries like your shoulders, your hips, that sort of thing. We take it nice and steady, and then we build up to some pretty high level functioning stuff. Another thing that I do like to push people in is their boundaries and their fears. Coming from the sports that I have, particularly the snowboarding and that sort of thing, I like to push boundaries, and that definitely comes over into my practice as a physio. But I think it's important. People need to push the boundaries and go beyond of where they're comfortable with, because more often than not, that comfort zone is a limitation into where you can really go. But having that right direction and that right guidance is huge and massively important. And I think that's where I like to sort of channel myself. So on that sort of fear and I guess pushing boundaries and being adventurous in life, I think is important to everybody. It's really important to me. I love snowboarding, whether that's hiking up a mountain in the middle of the Japanese backcountry and just going exploring with an avalanche pack on in case you get buried and mates around, or something as simple as walking on the beach with no shoes on, or a trail walk with no shoes and reconnecting into Mother Nature as well. Very big passions of mine, basically pushing my limits but also reconnecting to the world around me. I don't think any of us should be passengers just moving through in life. I think we should really make the most of it. We're not here for very long. The connections we do have and we do make are few and far between, and the more connections we can make, whether that's within our own body or with the environment around us, I think is underutilized, and definitely something that I try and push and explore a bit more, and since doing so I've been a lot happier for it, that's for sure. And growing up with two other brothers and being a twin and the older brother only 2 years older, it's always a big competition, and I've sort of moved away from that now and sort of just going things at my own pace and letting me control things. which again I'm trying to bring into my practice as well, and try and help other people understand that, you know, life is set at your pace and you can control it, and you know, with the right sort of guidance along the way, I think we can make a big difference. Yeah, so you know, if any of this has struck a chord with you, whether it be, you know, some balance issues, or there's some activities in day-to-day life that you're struggling with, you know, even if it's training towards getting back to some sort of sport or running, swimming, whatever that might be, it doesn't matter what age you are. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions you might have, so feel free to call up, book yourself in an appointment, and we can go from there.